Bank Negara Malaysia has announced a new standardized base rate to replace the base rate starting August 2022 next year. What does it mean to you? 3 minutes to understand this. Now, to understand this, we will first have to understand how does our interest rate works. Alright, here we have the Bank Negara, which is central bank, and it governs all the banks in Malaysia. So Bank Negara's role is to set the interest rate, which is the cost of borrowings for all the banks, and it's called overnight policy rate, which is OPR. Okay, and this OPR is the interest rate that is used and regulated through the monetary policy in different economic situations. So, for example, in economic situation that is lower, then the Bank Negara will reduce the OPR rate, which is reduce the cost of borrowing, so that more money can be lent out and pump up to the market to boost up economic activities. Alright, so when the OPR rate is reduced, right, each of the bank here will determine their own base rate. Base rate, yeah, and definitely this base rate is indirectly influenced by the OPR because the cost of borrowing is lower. However, each of the bank has an option to change the base rate, to reduce the base rate accordingly, or to maintain. So currently, when we apply for a housing loan, we always refer to the effective lending rate, which is a sum of the base rate set by the bank and also plus the loan spread rate. So different bank will have a different base rate despite the fluctuation of the OPR, plus the loan spread rate, and the loan spread rate is depending on the borrower's credit profile, the bank's operational cost, and also profit margin. Alright, so for example, I've got a 2.63 base rate from this bank, and according to my profile, I got a 0.47% of loan spread rate, and that gives me my current rate to be 3.1, and that's my final interest rate, right? And then now the Bank Negara has announced that this standardized base rate, which is SBR, is going to replace our base rate starting August 2022, which is next year. Okay, so what's the difference? The difference is that our effective lending rate is now based on SBR plus loan spread rate, which means standardized base rate here is always equivalent to OPR, and all the banks will have a fixed rate here. So the banks will no longer be able to set their own base rate. This will definitely equals to OPR. Alright, so for example, now the OPR is 1.75, and then the only manipulating factor is the loan spread rate. So one example here is that Bank A, I got a 3.25%, and that is because I have the SBR 1.75 plus 1.50 spread rate. Bank B, 3.75, slightly higher, but the SBR rate is the same, but I have a higher loan spread rate. So why the new system? This is to promote more transparency and also to make it easier for buyer to make informed decision. Alright, and this is starting next year, August 2022. Okay, follow me for more tips.